and welcome to the Rick House. My name is Cyrus Farmer, and you are watching and listening to the Stomp the Tee podcast. Folks, we have a lot to get into tonight, so let me tell you exactly what we're going to be talking about. Obviously, we're going to be getting into the NBA playoffs. We're into the second round at this point, and we're going to be discussing each series and some of my thoughts on the NBA overall as well. We're also going to be talking about everyone's favorite topic. What are you drinking tonight? But first, I do have to get into a little bit of housekeeping here. We are in, what is it? Let me take a look. We are in day 61 of the Wolf Watch. And there is news to report, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, let me just say, the Wolf Gourmet Convection Oven, again, essentially a fancy toaster oven that I bought for my wife on her birthday, which was February 21st, is still sitting in the dining room, in the box, unopened, next to the credenza. Some people call it a sideboard. But the news on day 61 of the Wolf Watch is my wife and I had a brief discussion, who's gorgeous, by the way, my wife. Oh, and I love her to death, without question, but she is objectively gorgeous by most people's definition of beauty. We had a brief conversation earlier this week, and she said, look, I'm going to look into selling this Wolf Gourmet Convection Oven on eBay. I said, okay, that's fine, dear. It's your gift. You can do whatever you want, but two things. Number one, if you want to give the Wolf away to friends or a family member, one of our children, your brother, one of your brothers, our sister-in-law, whomever, you are welcome to do that. It is your gift, and it was given to you by me out of love. And if you want to gift it to someone else, you are certainly allowed. But if you're going to sell it on eBay, well, we got to get at least what I paid for the actual Wolf Gourmet Convection Oven, which I don't think it's any secret. I told you I got it for a good number. I got it for $100 off, so I paid like $600 for this toaster oven. So I'm like, let's start there if you're going to go on eBay. If you're going to sell it, $600 is the number. That is the minimum we can sell it for, because I'm not giving a Wolf Gourmet Convection Oven to a stranger that reaches out to my wife on eBay for $150. That's not happening. That's just not happening. So, and to my wife's credit, she said, oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, I didn't tell her what I paid for it, but she was like, oh, yeah, of course. Without question. That's a no-brainer. I'm like, well, okay, that's good to hear. So, that is the latest movement on the Wolf Watch. Folks, it is day 61, 2 full months, and my ever beautiful but stubborn wife is determined to get this thing out of our house. And I am equally determined, through no coercion, but just through patience, I'm equally determined to see this thing unboxed and in use in our kitchen, which I think once that happens, my wife is going to love it. So, that is the Wolf Watch for this week. We'll keep you posted as we move along. Now, folks, let's talk a little bit about the NBA playoffs. I have to say, I think the playoffs have been absolutely tremendous. I've really, really enjoyed them. It's weird, a lot of people like to knock the NBA. about their playoffs and their playoff structure, how long it takes, so on and so forth. We're going to get to that a little later, but I think it's been a very, very strong playoff season for the NBA. Lots of compelling games, even more compelling storylines. I think it's been absolutely terrific, and boy, oh boy, I'm really into it this year, and I'm so glad that I am. All right, let's take the series one at a time. Cleveland and Indiana. Folks, I have to say, you know, I'm surprised that Indiana is up 2-0 in this series. I mean, I know Cleveland had injuries coming into it. I get that. I know Indiana could score with anyone in the league. I get that as well. Um, but I'm genuinely surprised. I was not expecting Indiana to have a 2-0 lead against the Cleveland Cavaliers and be on their way to Indianapolis to play game three. I just wasn't expecting that. I have to say, Indiana, in my opinion, they had no business winning game two. And yet they won it. It was an unbelievable, series of events that occurred. It was weird because, again, even though I felt like Indiana had no business winning that game, I was never confident that Cleveland was going to win the game. They were ahead, they were kind of in control, but there was no comfort level that, oh, I can turn this off and I'll wake up tomorrow and look on my phone and see that Cleveland won the game. No, I didn't feel comfortable at all. Um, and of course, Indiana ended up winning game two. Uh, very much in the same way they won game one. So kudos to them. Uh, Donovan Mitchell just looked absolutely gassed at the end of game two. They have to find him some help. I know three guys are out, three guys are injured. I get that. I completely understand. But, he's got to have some kind of help because otherwise it is going to be a very quick series for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, they have a huge game coming up, obviously, tomorrow. I think it's tomorrow. Game three, first game in Indiana. Uh, I'm going to watch the game, honestly, just because of the compelling nature of it. Uh, Indiana might roll over these guys. I mean, they might completely roll over these guys. We shall see. But obviously, it goes without saying that Cleveland is in real, real trouble. I thought that they were going to get a couple guys back, at least one or two of the three back. We shall see if that happens. But if they don't get anyone back, I mean, Jerome's got to play better. I mean, so many of the players have to play better and help Donovan Mitchell, who is doing essentially all he can to keep them in these games. And when I say keep them in these games, I'm saying keep the Cavaliers playing with the lead in these games until they run out of gas and lose, like they did in game one and game two against Indiana. It's absolutely unbelievable. Um, Oklahoma City Thunder and the Denver Nuggets. Now, this series, I have to tell you, I was not worried about the Oklahoma City Thunder, uh, even after the game one loss. I mean, if Holmgren makes a couple free throws, OKC probably wins that game anyway. So, I really was not concerned about their showing. Now, Denver is a team with genuine championship pedigree, and they have a great, great, great player in Nikola Jokic. Jokic. Uh, I mean, at some point in the offseason, we can talk about where I think Nikola is all time right now at this point in his career. Uh, he's a great, great player. I don't know that he's an all timer yet at this point, but we will evaluate that later in the summer, especially after we hit the off season. So another discussion for another day. That being said, the thing that was impressive to me about Oklahoma City, even in the game one loss, is they never seemed pressed. They never seemed overly concerned. They seemed to really feel comfortable in their ability and in their talent. I mean, they're so deep, and you saw that on display even in game one. I think they're going to have their hands full with Denver, but I think this is a 6-game series at best. Oklahoma City wins, obviously, over the Denver Nuggets. I just think they have too much depth, the Thunder, and too much talent at the end of the day. Now, you can never count Jokic, Murray, even Westbrook to a degree out. And let's not leave Aaron Gordon out of this. He's played well this entire postseason. So you can't literally leave them out of the possibility of winning. But I don't think they're going to have enough to win the series. Maybe Denver is just running out of gas. Who knows? But I think that the Oklahoma City Thunder, which you saw in game two when they decided to kind of put their foot on the gas the entire game, you saw what the Oklahoma City Thunder can do to anyone in the NBA. And that's a win by 43 against a championship pedigreed team led by Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. So I think that's going to happen for the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I'll continue to watch because Jokic is a wonderful player, and I want to see how gritty the Nuggets will be over the next few games. Okay, Minnesota and Golden State. Boy, oh boy. Folks, I have to tell you, I was looking forward to this series like nobody's business. As most of you know, I had picked Minnesota to win the series. I'm picking Minnesota to actually go to the NBA Finals. That being said, game one was a little strange to me. It seemed like the Minnesota Timberwolves were trying to kind of out right? Out 3-point shoot the Golden State Warriors, which completely, in my opinion, plays into the hands of the Golden State Warriors. They're not Lakers small, but they don't have much size on that team. And why would you negate your one advantage, and that's the size and the length of your team, by shooting threes all night? It was very strange. I didn't understand that at all. And I have to say about my man Anthony Edwards, wonderful player. I posed the question just last week: is he Jordan? The answer was too early to say. But sometimes with Anthony Edwards, sometimes he can be too patient. Now, notice I said patient and not passive. Sometimes Ant-Man can be too patient because I believe he has supreme confidence in his own abilities, both as a scorer and as facilitator. And sometimes I think he misses the beat, as it were, and doesn't, kind of help his team by being less patient, by being more aggressive at different points of the game. Now, we've all seen the Anthony Edwards who can shoot his team out of a game. Yes, I mean, that's always the threat with any great player. Do they keep their powder dry, or are they literally going to empty the chamber every time they touch the ball and basically become a ball hog? And if they make all their shots, the team wins. If they miss some of the shots, the team probably loses. It's a fine balance. It really is. And Anthony Edwards, we've seen him shoot the Timberwolves out of games during the regular season, on and off. So I like the fact that he's matured to being patient to a large degree. But if you're Anthony Edwards, you can't end the first half of game one with 1 point. I mean, that simply can't happen. And I think Anthony Edwards is a great player. But this is all part of the learning process. And I think he's actually learning, like most people, on the job while he goes through it. So tonight's game, I don't even know what the score is. I think last I checked, the Timberwolves were up probably 12 points midway through the third quarter. So we'll see what happens after we record this episode and whether or not the Timberwolves won. As most of you know, I picked the Timberwolves to win the series against Golden State. I'll say it again. With or without Steph Curry. But losing Steph Curry for 1 game, 3 games, 5 games, whatever the total may be, is a problem for Golden State, obviously. I think Steph has been such a wild card. Not in the sense of you don't know what he's going to do. You know what he's going to do. He's going to score. He's going to light it up. But he's been a wild card in the sense of he's had a little streakiness with his shooting in this particular postseason, which to me suggests that he is wearing down as well, which is probably why he has the hamstring strain. So who knows what he's going to be like, he being Steph Curry, when and if he comes back for the rest of this series. But I don't know that the Warriors can give themselves any chance of winning the series without Steph. They won game one. I won't even say they stole game one. They completely won game one, the Warriors, in Minnesota after Steph left, halfway through the first quarter, I guess, or halfway through the second quarter, whatever it was. He didn't play the whole game. But that being said, it is very difficult to make a living winning games without Steph Curry if you are the Golden State Warriors. I don't care how well Draymond plays. Yeah, they need him if they want to try to win the series. So we'll see when he comes back, if he can come back. Speaking of Steph Curry, a buddy of mine posed a question to me, and I want to pose this question to you because I had to think about it for a minute, and then I realized what the actual answer was. But his question to me was, if you had to pick one of these two players, who would you pick to lead your team? Steph Curry or Kobe Bryant? Folks, I want to read you a couple of pieces of information, then I'm going to tell you what I think about this. Look, in some ways, let's be fair. We have to be honest. Steph Curry is actually a more important player, historically, than Kobe Bryant. Steph has changed the way the game of basketball itself has been played at almost every single level of the sport. High school, elementary, college, pro, women's. I mean, he's literally not quite single-handedly, but practically single-handedly changed the way people approach the sport of basketball due to his great acumen for shooting, long and short. So in a lot of ways, Steph Curry is a more important figure historically to the NBA than Kobe Bryant. So let's give him that. Let's talk about that. Let's actually acknowledge and celebrate that. Steph Curry, all right? Obviously, he's in all likelihood the greatest shooter in the history of the game. four-time NBA champion. I mean, you don't have to apologize for anything if you are Steph Curry. You've earned your place in this game, and you've earned your place among the legends that have played this game before, during, and after you. So no apologies necessary. You're Steph Curry. Steph Curry has been playing for 16 years in the NBA. His average, his point per game average is 24.7. And he has scored as of, I don't know if this is completely up to date, including the playoff game or not, but he has scored 25,386 points. 16 years of basketball, all right? Again, averaging 24.7 points a game. Let's talk a little bit about Kobe Bryant. Kobe, his average points per game is 25. It's 25 flat for some reason. Obviously, Kobe played 20 years in the NBA. But Kobe scored 33,643 points during his 20-year career as a Laker and as an NBA player. Now, Steph did win back-to-back MVPs. Kobe only won one MVP during his illustrious career. Kobe averaged 30 points or more a game 3 times in his career. Surprisingly, Steph has only averaged 30 or more a game for a season twice in his career. And I have to say that's actually a little surprising. And let's be honest, folks. Kobe played very, very, very good defense. So to me, the answer is obvious. It doesn't seem obvious when you're first asked the question in 2025, but the answer is obvious when you think about it for a minute. I have to take Kobe over Steph Curry for all the reasons that I laid out and more. Kobe was just a tremendous, tremendous player. People forget. I mean, again, we know the offensive numbers, but you would have to be out of your mind to compare Steph Curry to Kobe Bryant defensively. And that's over the course of 16 years, 20 years, 1 year, one game. Doesn't matter. Kobe's a better defensive player than Steph Curry. People forget what a tremendous player Kobe was. And I don't know if it's because of how he entered the NBA when he made the announcement at Lower Merion. I don't know if it's because people thought he rode Shaq's coattails during the early part of his career as a Laker. I don't know if it's because of the selfish tag that was applied to Kobe before, during, and after his time with Shaq, particularly after Shaq left the Lakers. A lot of people thought, I shouldn't say a lot of people, there were reports in the media that Kobe was a selfish player, and that he only cared about points, this, that, and the other. I was in Los Angeles at that time. Kobe was all over the news almost every single day. He was Shohei Ohtani, believe it or not. So it's very, very difficult for me to pick Steph Curry over Kobe Bryant. Now, a lot of people have problems. My own brother doesn't believe that Kobe's a top 10 player of all time, which is fine. That's debatable. I think Kobe is. My brother and others do not think Kobe is top 10 all time. I can't put Steph Curry with 4 championships and all the accolades and all the things that he's done to change the game ahead of Kobe Bryant as a player in the NBA. I can't do it. I can't do it. And Steph was a wonderful player, but give me Kobe. Give me Kobe. One last thing. Do you folks realize that Kobe Bryant, at the time of his retirement, was the third leading scorer all time in NBA history at the time of his retirement? I mean, think about it. Kobe was third on the all-time scoring list. He's currently fourth. LeBron has passed him, but he's currently fourth. Kobe scored over 33,000 points. That's a lot of points. And to give you a little perspective, right now, Steph Curry, his position on the all-time scoring list in the NBA is 24th. So give me Kobe. Give me Kobe. All right. Let's talk a little bit about the other series. Knicks, Celtics. Folks, most of you know that I am a New York Knicks fan. Have been for a couple decades now. I have to say, I thought that game one against the Celtics was really more of an aberration than, let's say, a foretelling of the future. I mean, I thought there's no way Boston's going to miss 45 three-pointers in any other game this series. They were probably a little rusty, coming off that series against Orlando, whatever. And let's be fair. I mean, the Knicks, they won that game one fair and square. They were gutty. They were gritty. They scratched and clawed their way to that win, which they completely earned in game one. But personally, as a Knicks fan, I actually needed to see more. I needed to see the Knicks do something like that again before I started to believe, quote unquote. And then I watched game two. Folks, it is amazing to me that the Knicks are up 2-0 against the Boston Celtics. In my opinion, a team that has owned the Knicks since Tatum and Brown have been there. I don't know what the numbers are. That's just the feeling I get. The Knicks never, in my opinion, beat the Celtics when it counts, when there's a big game. So I am shocked, pleasantly shocked, that the Knicks are up 2-0 against the Celtics. Now, obviously, the Knicks have a real chance to win this series, but I personally cannot count Boston out yet. Now, I have to tell you this. The Knicks have to win a split over the next two games in order to win the series. I think if somehow Boston comes into New York and wins two games, just like New York did in Boston, I think Boston wins the series. The Knicks have to find a way to win game three or game four. They don't have to win both, obviously. You don't have to sweep Boston. I'll take it if they do, but you don't have to. But to win the series, if you're the Knicks, you got to win game three or game four. You got to go back to Boston up 3-1. We'll see if they're going to be able to do that. I don't understand, personally, Boston's love affair with the three-point shot. I mean, especially when you have so many guys. Read Jason Tatum. Read Jaylen Brown. Even Reed White. You have so many guys, Drew Holiday, who can get to the bucket at will. Why are you camping out along the three-point line, hoisting up threes? I don't understand it. I genuinely don't understand it. But if that's the Celtics, if that's what they want to do, if that's how they want to play, and they're going to hit some because they have all season, eventually, then yeah, keep hoisting up threes. I'll take my chances if I'm the Knicks. Keep hoisting up threes. Now, I think I have to get one other issue addressed. Um, and it's an issue that's been around for years, but I want to talk about it right now. There are people, when I say people, I'm literally talking about sports pundits, uh, sports talk show hosts. There are there's a segment of society that loves, and I mean loves, to bash the NBA and their playoffs. And I have no idea why. What is not to like about the NBA, especially in playoff time? I don't get it. I don't understand. Is it perfect? Is the NBA perfect? Absolutely not. I mean, look, the most popular sport in America by a mile is the NFL, and there are some snoozer playoff games in that sport as well. Read Chargers Texans this past offseason. How about that Miami game against whoever they played with Skylar Thompson 2 years ago? Again, I think against Cincinnati or someone. Who knows? There were some clunkers in the NFL as well. Is the NBA perfect? Absolutely not. But it is basketball played at its absolute highest level by professional players. Let's not forget, the NBA, of all the four major sports, including hockey, the NBA is the most global as far as the people who play its game in their league. By far. I mean, it really distances itself from baseball, from hockey, from the NFL, because in the NBA, you have Americans, Africans, Croatians, Australians, Europeans, Spaniards. The NBA, I have not done this study, but I will try to look it up at some point and see how many different countries are represented among the players in the NBA versus the Major League Baseball, or the National Hockey League, or the NFL. It doesn't get more global, in my opinion, than the NBA. So what's not to like? I mean, look, you have these series that sometimes are short. They're sweeps, 4-0. There are 5-game series. There are 6-game series. But even some of those series, not all of them, but even some of those series have compelling storylines, right? Are you telling me that you weren't interested in a series that ended in 5 games in the Minnesota Timberwolves Los Angeles Lakers series? Are you telling me you weren't interested in that? Anthony Edwards going up against LeBron and Luka, and seeing if LeBron and Luka can mesh, and is Austin Reeves going to show up, and so on and so forth. You telling me you weren't interested in that series, even though it only went 5 games? How about the Knicks in Detroit? That was a 6-game series. Are you telling me you weren't interested in that series? With a young, baby-laden Detroit Pistons team looking the mighty New York Knicks, not the mighty New York Knicks, but the New York Knicks from the mighty city of New York, eyeball to eyeball, not blinking, not scared. Cade Cunningham and his group of young, future great players went toe-to-toe with the Knicks. And that was a 6-game series. I thought it was incredibly compelling. Look, these series, even the ones that are not competitive, still have compelling storylines. Think about Indiana, Milwaukee, right? I mean, I was interested to see. I watched two games in that series because I was interested to see if Doc Rivers and Giannis could actually, get into the second round. They've been down since winning their championship a few years ago, and I was fascinated to see if Indiana could prevent them from advancing, which Indiana did relatively easily. But the Bucks are at a crossroad now. I watched that series with bated breath. The two portions of two games that I saw. I watched the Clippers and who did they play? Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. I watched the Clippers lose to Denver. And again, that was a heartbreaking loss. Heartbreaking game. I think it was game 5. Game 4. I think it was game 4 when Aaron Gordon gets the tip in. Essentially, the alley oop dunk that gets off his fingers with zero point 0.1 seconds left on the shot clock. I watched that series just to see if the Clippers could break through, and obviously if James Harden could overcome his playoff poor performances year in, year out. I heard a crazy stat. One of my men told me about this. A crazy stat about James Harden. And I'm not here to knock James Harden. He is a Hall of Famer. He's just not an all-time great. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you can't score as many points as he scored and not be an all-time. Well, I should say you can't score as many points as he scored and not be a Hall of Famer. That doesn't make you an all-time great. James Harden, I think, has been in the league 13 years, 14 years, something like that. He's been in the playoffs every single year of his career, apparently. I haven't double checked this, but this is what my man said. And he's the only player in NBA history to lose 4 game 7s with 4 different teams. And I'm watching James Harden. I'm like, just shoot the ball. I mean, be John Starks. If you're gonna go out with the ball in the air. Don't keep it in your pocket. Shoot the ball. Be aggressive. But it's James Harden for you. Anyway, all that being said, I love the NBA. To me, it's my number 2 behind the NFL. But I love, 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 love the NBA. It is a great league with a tremendous postseason, in my opinion. I am not having any problems. And the people who bash the NBA, if you think the games are too long, or there's too much isolation, or there are too many 3 points shots being shot, or the playoffs drag on and on and on with 7-game series after 7-game series, I can't watch anymore. Look, if you're one of those people, that's fine. Maybe the NBA is not for you. Go watch hockey or Premier League soccer or golf, which I happen to watch myself. Watch something else. If the NBA is so tedious for you to watch something else. It's not a big deal. So there is that. Now, folks, it is time for everyone's favorite segment. I get to ask you a question here, and I can't wait to hear your answer. But the question is, what are you drinking tonight? Well, I can tell you exactly what I'm drinking. And I'm drinking Center Stave Bourbon Whiskey. Folks, I have to tell you, tonight's segment is a little bit different because it was very difficult to find information on this bourbon that I am drinking tonight. Apparently, It is bottled by Kentucky Whiskey Bottling in Harrodsburg, Kentucky. Now, I have to look up which episode we ran across the Kentucky Whiskey Bottling Company before, but there was another episode where we had one of their products. Kentucky Whiskey Bottling does not distill this bourbon, they merely package it. Very strange. Um, it is 53% ABV, which makes it 103 proof. Uh, According to what I was able to find online, apparently it has been aged at least 4 years, and it's finished in a port wine cask. For those of you watching on YouTube, I can show you, it says that on the bottle right here, right? I got it for $45, the bottle. Folks, I got to tell you, it's very difficult finding info on this particular product. So I'm just going to tell you what I think about it. It's actually not bad. You know, for a bourbon that I honestly have no idea where it was distilled and who distilled it and what the mash bill is, on and on and on and on. It's actually a very drinkable product. It's warm. It's almost malty in a sense. I taste cherries, chocolate, dark chocolate. Um, and it's very good on its own. It's great on ice. It's great on the rocks with one cube. It's great with, if you open it up with a little bit of water, 1 or 2 drops, 3 drops, whatever. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic in a highball, which I'm going to be trying this with later. Center stave. I think it's definitely worth adding to your bar. I wouldn't go out of my way to find it because I need to know more about who produces it, who distills it. Anytime I can't find information about a product online, it makes me a little suspicious and or hesitant about buying or using the product. But that being said, I have to be honest, it's actually just fine. It's actually just fine. So, Center Stave, Kentucky Straight Bourbon is completely worth buying if you find it. I wouldn't go out of my way to look for it, but it's worth buying if you find it. All right, folks. We here in the Philadelphia area are going to be, just started earlier today, we are going to be inundated and have been already with some of the greats of the golf world, both players, media wise coverage, because the Truist Championship is being played at Philadelphia Cricket Club. Now, the Truist Championship, what is that? Truist is the new title sponsor for what used to be called the Wells Fargo Championship. This is the championship that was played previously at Quail Hollow in North Carolina. This year, Quail Hollow is hosting the PGA Championship just next week. So the formerly known as Wells Fargo Championship, now the Truist Championship, was moved to Philly Cricket and is being played this week. Guys are tearing the course apart right now. We'll see what happens over the weekend, but I expect that to continue because the guys are shooting 62, 63, 64, 65s on the course. Conditions were soft. We had rain before. We're going to have more rain tonight and tomorrow. So, I mean, who knows? I just hope I hope the winning number is under 23. I don't want to be 23 under for the championship of the Truist Championship, for the one of the Truist Championship. Now, um, I mentioned this. I will be going out to the Philadelphia Cricket Club to watch the Sunday round, the final round of the Truist Championship. So I'm going to tell you all next week about my thoughts of Philly cricket, which I've never seen before. And I will also give you my thoughts on what occurred and who played well, in my opinion, who didn't, what the experience was like. And we'll also do a preview of the PGA Championship as well. So that will be for next week. But for tonight, that is our show. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. My name is Cyrus Farmer. This is the Stomp the Tee podcast. We will be back at you next week, like clockwork. And again, never forget to tell everyone that you know and people you don't know how much you love, enjoy, and demand this show, Stomp the Tee, because we are here for you and we are here to provide you with content you can't get anywhere else online. And we're proud of that. So, sing the praises of Stomp the Tee whenever you get a chance, early and often. All right. Once again, my name is Cyrus Farmer. This is the Stomp the Tee podcast. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as always, we will see you on the first tee.